right, we're going to pick up with verse number 9. For behold, thine enemies, O Lord. All right, so we're using kind of the mouth part of the ox, and that's our verse 9 right here. And it says, behold, for behold, so there's 4 bees here. They don't really look like bees, but the day that I drew them, they were my bees. So, for behold, Lord, thine, and this is a wine bottle, which reminds me of thine. For behold, thine enemies, O Lord. So again, we have our L in the canister. Behold, for behold again, for behold, thine enemies will perish. So we still have the thine with the wine. So these are enemies. So it's like a couple of stick figures, and they're like laying down because they perished. And right here I put rest in peace. The verse continues, all who do iniquity will be scattered. So below that I just put little ends all over the place because they're kind of scattered. And that reminds me of iniquities. All who do iniquities will be scattered. That's verse 9. Let's go. Verse 10 here, we are using the, I guess you call that the rope that's holding the ox. But you have exalted my horn like that of the wild ox. All right, so we got a ewe lamb here, but you have exalted. I just use an X, and on the top of the X I put some horns. But you have exalted my horn like that of the wild ox. So I drew a picture of a little ox here. I have been anointed with fresh oil, so it's a big I for I have been anointed with fresh oil. So this is an oil can, and you can see oil is kind of going over on the I because I have been anointed with fresh oil. Verse 11. Right here we're using the leg part of the ox, and verse 11 says, and my eye has looked exultantly upon my foes. So we got a couple of eyes here, and so it says, and my eye, so it's only one eye, but I drew 2 for some reason, but and my eye have looked, so I think they're looking, my eye has looked exultantly, so the big X, and it's looking exultantly. That reminds me of exultantly on my foes, and this for me is some toes. Toes, foes, it rhymes. So, and then it says, my ears hear of the evildoers who rise up against me. So there's a picture of a big some ear, but an ear here. So this ear is hearing, there's an arrow pointing like he's hearing. For my ears hear of the evildoers. So there's a couple of little people here. They are evil. They're riding a motorcycle. Because that reminds you, remember the Evel Knievel, he rode a motorcycle. So the evildoers are on a motorcycle, and they rise up against me. So again, I have a, who rise up against me. So there's an owl, and they're like on a platform with an arrow going up, and that just reminds me of rising up. So my ears hear of the evildoers who rise up against me. That's verse 11. Now we're going to move on over to verse 12. The righteous man will flourish like the palm tree. So this is a palm tree. And we got verse 12 here, palm tree. And this man, there's a person here, and he's like flourishing. And he will grow like the cedar of Lebanon. So I put a little grass here for growing. And this is a cedar chest. Some of you know what a cedar chest is. And like a dresser made out of cedar. And on top of that is a capital L, cursive L, and that reminds me of Lebanon. So cedar of Lebanon. Verse 13. We keep moving over, and this is like the, the inside upper part of the leg here. And verse 13. Planted in the house of the Lord. So house of the Lord, I made a church, which is like a house, right? And inside I had some plants growing. So those are planted in the house of the Lord. And if you can see, there's an L right here on the corner. Reminds me of Lord. They will flourish in the courts of our God. So for this one, it's hard to see, but they were kind of growing, they were flourishing in the court. So I tried to make a basketball court. That's the hoop right here. And the basketball, I thought I drew a stick person. Anyway, so this is a basketball going into the hoop. They were flourishing the courts of our God. So it's kind of a basketball court there. And we're coming down now to verse 14. They will yield fruit in old age. So for that, so here's a big plate of fruit. And I thought, how can I have it yield? So it rhymed with yield, still. So I drew a still. You know, some of you might be familiar with the still, where they used to make whiskey, and they would have that little spiral down thing where it came out. So they, and they is the righteous, of course, they will still yield fruit in old age. They shall be full of sap and very green. So here I just used a shell to remind me of they shall, S-H-A-L-L, they shall be full of sap and very green. And I don't think I had anything for sap. They would be full of sap and very green. So this is like a tree that's growing and is very green and just rich and full. So that's verse 14. Takes us down to verse number 15. To declare, we got our clarinets again, to declare that the Lord is upright. So you can see that the Lord is here again, and he's upright. He's on the pedestal with the arrow going up. So to declare that the Lord is upright, he is my rock. Well, this is pretty silly because this is, some of you may remember a show called Hee Haw. So it was a donkey, and he would go hee 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 ha ha. So this is an ugly donkey that's going hee haw. But here's mine. It says that he is my rock. So he's standing on the rock. And this person in the rock her name is Anne. And there is no unrighteousness. So I X out the Anne in the rocks because there is no unrighteousness in him. Him is a hymn book. And that reminds me of him. There you have all of the verses for Psalm 92. What I did was I worked on it a little bit each day, and within 7 days I had it pat. Remember that the mind sees in pictures. So there's the ox for Psalm 92. I hope that is very helpful to you. And thank you so much. To God be the glory. Bye.